Welcome, poets, to this week's episode of the Poet's Dilemma podcast. I'm your poetess host, Jacqueline King, and today's episode is quite the incredible feat. We made it, poets. Season 1 is a wrap. I can't believe it. But please don't fret. Season 2 will be right around the corner. And this summer, we have a lot of fun things in store. So what you can expect is the Poet's Dilemma is going to be going on tour and hosting listening parties in a city near you. So stay tuned for more details. I'll keep everybody posted on the socials. So here's my plug to encourage you to like and subscribe on your favorite streaming platforms by clicking follow. And remember to click the little bell icon. This way you'll get a notification when a new episode is released. This type of support helps me immensely. Remember also to follow the Poet's Dilemma podcast on Instagram and TikTok via all of your Instagram accounts, even the burner ones. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It really means a lot to me. We're starting a Renaissance, poets, and we need all the support we can get to make an impact. As we look back on season 1 for the Poet's Dilemma podcast, we're reminded that we've discussed everything from free will choices to what it means to be an artist and to how to access community in the face of natural disaster. We've traveled to ancestral lands to unveil the duty of the storyteller, of the bard. We've imagined a world founded on harmony and what it would take to get there. How do we foster it? We've stood in our sexual empowerment and learned the wounded place is the same place where the medicine lives. We were struck by the reality of the empirical world and learned the truth about our heroes. And we even overcame self-sabotage and got out of our own damn way. Wow. It has taken me over a year to create these 10 episodes, and while that seems like a long time, I'm so proud of what I've produced, and I'm thankful to every single person who listened and encouraged and supported me. Thank you, poets. I love you all. This is just the beginning. Through it all, every dilemma, every theme, every conversation, every unraveling, there's been a consistent thread, a question I've been avoiding, one that has shaped not just this podcast, but the majority of my life. So I ask myself, what dilemma could possibly close out this season? And the answer became undeniable. I have wasted hours, accumulatively probably weeks of my life, denying myself that I am worthy of actualizing my dreams. Even in the hours spent contemplating, researching, reading, playing with my thoughts, imagining and deciding and choosing what words I'll write to express the truth of the human soul, the human experience, in our resilience, in our pleasure, in our joy, and in our sorrow. Just to strip away everything because of my own mind. My own internal monologue telling me the story that my dreams and my desires to be a writer, to be a poet, is a thirst never to be quenched. The battle of answering the questions, am I special? Am I worthy of an exceptional life? Am I extraordinary? Do I get to break out of the corporate climb and do something in life that feels immensely magical? There's a calling, and her voice is so beautiful. But when my confidence wavers, or something in life happens that fuels the justification that I am not worthy, I lean in. I repeat over and over that I am not special, that I am to stay stuck as a cog in the machine. I hum, so it hums. And reality, society, capitalism likes me there. It likes it when I feel helpless. It likes it when I am filled with anxiety and mindlessly scrolling and online shopping to fill a void that I'm just too afraid to name. So instead of standing up to it, I sit in it. I become the imposter, the one in the room who believes they do not belong, that I lied, I cheated, I snuck in, and someone is going to notice that I don't fit in. And here we have it, the dilemma on cue for today, the dilemma of imposter syndrome, or perhaps more profoundly, the dilemma of how do I believe in my own worth when everything internally and externally tells me I shouldn't. Imposter syndrome is a persistent belief that your success, talent, or place in a space isn't truly earned, and that at any moment you'll be found out for the fraud that you are. But here's the truth. The feeling of imposter syndrome doesn't come from the lack of competence or worthiness. It comes from a tension between the internal story we tell ourselves and our external reality. I'm going to unpack the imposter in 3 cohorts. Where does the imposter come from? Where does the imposter live? And how do we coexist with the imposter? It is possible for the imposter to be born in our childhood based on the roles we learn to play early on, though it is not necessary to have experienced childhood trauma to suffer from imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome develops from society. Because history is founded on racism, sexism, and socioeconomical classes, this can actually influence our own perception of self and self-worthiness. For example, when I am the only woman in a room full of tech executives, I feel like a phony. I feel like I tricked my way into this space, and now I'm just pretending to have the knowledge to stay and to sound reliable. This feeling doesn't have anything to do with my childhood trauma, but rather has everything to do with sexism in the workplace and the way that women in business are made to feel. We're inherently made to feel inferior by the language we use to describe our roles in society. Women in business aren't opinionated, they're bitchy. Women in business aren't passionate, they're emotional. Women in business aren't confident, they're arrogant. Women in business aren't direct, they're rude. Women in business aren't leaders, they're bossy. This is the type of language and verbiage we'll hear in an office space when someone's just nonchalantly being judgmental of another person. This feeling that I have when I'm at work is founded on a real life experience of made to feel everything other than the product of your own work ethic. As a woman, you're immediately judged off of your appearance, and depending on how beautiful you are, that will classify the way in which a man will respond to you. I experience this all the time. Like, I need to be flirty, but I can't be too sexy because then it's misconstrued. I need to be smart, but I can't be too smart because then they'll be intimidated. It's this like weird dichotomy of an experience because patriarchy. I digress. No, I don't digress. This is the topic. This same experience that I have with sexism can be applied to race, culture, geography, classism. If you are the unique one in the room, you likely suffer from imposter syndrome. The imposter lives in our internal monologue, a voice that has the ability to control narratives, impacting the way in which reality is perceived. Often hidden from the public, we feel alone with the imposter, believing that we are the only one in the room feeling this way. Both Esther Perel, our lovely psychotherapist, and Harvard behavioral social scientist Arthur C. Brooks stresses the need to find a healthy relationship with the imposter. So going back to this idea of coexistence. Perel talks about how the imposter kept her humble in her early days of becoming a therapist, in her 20s. It allowed her to have humility and a sense of awareness that she isn't going to know how to treat certain situations, and wants to make her patients aware of that. Perel is just such an incredibly evolved human being, right? She had such a sense of awareness. And even in her relationship to her imposter, yes, it gave her humility, but I think also she inherently is humble and was able to recognize that, yeah, she's not decades of experience when she's just starting out, that she's going to know how to solve and react to every scenario. Arthur C. Brooks studies the human behavior of strivers, which he defines as highly ambitious and hardworking people. All the strivers he's studied share a common thread, which is the belief that they are undeserving of their successes and accolades they receive. So, while on one hand, both Perel and Brooks see a benefit to the humility and motivation that the imposter can produce, I do think it's necessary to not carry such a nonchalance about it. To say that the imposter is but a fuel to supercharge success is to put little care into the impact of history's inequalities and the psychological impact they've had on individuals. I was sharing Brooks's belief with my therapist, and she felt that his oversimplification and justification that the imposter can be used to drive towards greater ambition sounded a bit gimmicky, and I greatly appreciated this insight. My therapist always gives me the strength to write and to express myself, so let's let her teachings do just that. May her wisdom that flows through me seamlessly flow seamlessly through you. She iterates that the imposter comes from society. It lives in the societal discourse that the patriarchy dictates, telling us we are merely a number, inconsequential to the wider world, and often we believe this. And then when perchance the dreams we have dreamed knock on our front door, we quiver and revolt. We ridicule the very self that has tirelessly believed, studied, practiced, and executed. We tell ourselves we do not deserve, that we have not earned. We are not the meal of our studied recipe, but rather a mistake on the ingredient list, a misspelling. The mind says, how did I, Jacqueline, from where I come from what I have seen with bare naked eyes, afraid and unsure, insecure, how did I end up here amongst all of you without a clean past of normalcy? But I pretend to be normal, but I'm not normal. When I have been wronged and have done so much wrong. Oh, the mind, sweet child. You're here because of righteous belonging. A desperate requirement that asks less of you and more of time. That everything propelling you into this moment has actually been so much more than just your breath and your beat. Every person and soul has contributed to your becoming because there was a recognition of the light, of the potent potential. There's a flame ablaze, and maybe, just maybe, because of my story and where I have come from, I can help change the world. Change the world to a place where the values we uphold match the actions we predicate. So, let it be. The imposter is a culmination of narratives that validates all the reasons of our societal shortcomings. But these are false stories that need not echo in our presence. If we do away with these insecure beliefs, then we strive towards an awakening more powerful than dollar bills. We change the trajectory of society and we heal from the past. This reminds me again of Carl Jung's The Undiscovered Self, where he discussed that we know that the human consciousness and humankind is capable of atrocity. So if the human mind is capable of such, what does that say about consciousness? We need to understand what fuels the consciousness to behave in that way. When we learn that, we're going to transcend and it's going to be fucking cool. Think of the day where we become more interesting than color, more bold than history. The imposter crumbles in the final moments of breakthrough. Take back that agency, own your narrative and your story. Tell yourself you are exactly where you should be, that our lives are founded on hard work. Yes, timing, a little bit of luck and chance, but a whole lot of because you did it. You did that. Believe in your worth, in your becoming, and everything you fear is merely a lesson to move through. It's the way we light the path that we march on. The release of a deeply meaningful and profound project, the Poet's Dilemma podcast, obviously, that I dedicated endless thoughtful hours to, and the complete vulnerability of my mind that begged to reckon with this life we live, can be so much sweeter if we all learned how to love the world, to love our home, to love ourselves. This project, once released, was no longer just mine, no longer safe in the realms of my mind, of my notebook, and it never was to stay there. For the responsibility the work held was much greater than the shell of my own protection. In creating this, I became engulfed by the shadow. I was reminded of the past that told me I was ugly, a grotesque sight for bleeding eyes, and that what I had to say and share and rhyme and imagine was an embarrassment. My guilt of my past ate me. My belief that I was an embodiment of shame that was so loud, I would wake up crying, feeling like a wasted space of energy, and even as I say it out loud, I hear the absurdity. But old thoughts live long, and my body never knew the sanctity of safety. My nervous system as quick as a panther in spring. My words provoked, like, if you want to fight, then come at me. My troops are lined up in uniforms, skilled and wary. Ah, the dilemma of the imposter, so loud, so critical. But if life has taught me anything, it has taught me this. Those whose snot-smug judgments lack the love they've never known. So when I hate me, it's because the little girl that lives in me is disturbed. She's loud. She's reminding me that she didn't know what it was like to be loved. She was engulfed in her own feelings of shame, guilt, pain, and insecurity. And that's when adult self, me, today, that's when I need to show up and be close to her. Show her that the world she walks through loves her, believes in her, that even if there were no crystals, no books, no fabric to drape across her body, that she is still extraordinary. I need to make this a ritual. And when I believe in myself consistently, I calm the torture of the imposter. Yes, the imposter may still show up, but it won't be here to belittle me. It won't control me, and it won't prevent me. For the world is unpredictable. To survive it is a universal blessing. Florence Given from The Florence Given Show, which is another really great podcast I recommend, recently shared a mantra that she tells to herself every morning. She's been doing it for the last few years or so. It really inspired me. This is her morning spell. The day ahead is nothing but scattered atoms, bendable to my will, shaped by my words, my thoughts, and my actions, my mind, my body, my right to say no. I get to choose the way this day goes. No distractions, no numbing. I get to choose the woman I'm becoming. I do not bend to external reality. I am the director. Reality bends to me. Poets. This is a short and heartfelt episode, and I decided that instead of sharing a spotlight poet for this week, I wanted to share a couple of new poems that I have been working on. Just get like extra vulnerable with you guys. Vulnerable, absurd, abstract, and stream of conscious kind of way. So just let the poetry move through you. These are also poems that dive into an emotional curse. And when you come to it, when you make it to the other side, we learn that within every curse is a blessing. This poem is called When the beat of the heart races like a racing horse in its final lap to victory. Speed is but a projection of societal milestones, and remember, the trophy is nothing if not won with dignity. Sometimes my shame is loud, but my love is always louder. And when I hear her echo old stories of the past, what I really hear is the desperate plea for somebody to love. And that somebody is me. When I love me, the world I see is at peace, equal and courageous, ready for unhappened time that guides me to all the new heights, new tales, a new protagonist with the same goddamn name. She claims the world is merely a singular ball of energy, each of our lives a climax, a built-up boom that pops and goops, flashlight bright. So tell me, how do you come? This poem is called Don't Cry. Kiss the palm of your hand, grasp it, throw it up to the sky. The universe is patient, and so are we. When Lennon and McCartney write a poem with the most harmonious of chords, they sing. In my life, I loved them all. When I was a young adult, I would use only 1/4 of a makeup wipe because I had to make it last. The whole time being told that this is the goal, wealth, power, fame. I can't. Each night I pray for world peace, and I pray that maybe if I was just prettier, melodically hypnotizing, taller, less emotional, brighter than a 9-year-old winning a spelling bee globally, if I could just be better and more, oh, so much more, and less of the monstrosities that stay sticky, that stay stuck to me like an impression of an ass in a leather seat. Life keeps telling me less, and it's telling me more. I'm working on it, I swear. But there's those traumas that bear the sentence of impulsiveness, and my strides against reactivity towards proactivity become but a measurement of my own inability to grow, to let go. Beyond the beating repetition of my own workshop, mechanisms that warrant a probable and joyful life. So I rinse and repeat, and with every sprout a wilt, a seed grown to die, a young life filled with cathartic promise, a beat of a tongue that never said, "No, baby, I'm done," for the final words of a wounded soldier are the most fearless words I know. Yay! Thank you, poets. This concludes the very first season of the Poets Dilemma podcast. I'm your host, Jacqueline King. These last 10 weeks have been an incredible awakening of self, of love, of hope, of ambition, of belief, of release. Yay! Please trust me when I say your choices, your actions, your self-talk, your trust, your rigor, your resilience, your failures, and your ability to come back from them, the choices you make and the way you carry yourself in the aftermath, it matters. You matter. It all matters. So choose wisely as we face all the dilemmas and decisions that our life will grapple with. While this is an ending, it is also truly just the beginning. The Poet's Dilemma will be back for a season 2, where we will discuss more dilemmas. We'll have expert guests join us and help us unpack and navigate the choices we make in our lives. Again, please follow along on social media at the Poets Dilemma podcast to stay up to date for what cities we'll be hosting events in this summer. With gratitude, I bow, poets. Thank you for your support. Many blessings, poets. Good night. We did it! Season 1, that's a wrap. Let's turn this off. Bye-bye.